I was talking to this fur, and it turned out, I mean, nice fur, but it turned out he wasn't the smartest light in the candle.
But Taebyn, there's only one light in a candle.
And he wasn't the smartest one.
This is Barely Furcasting, featuring Taebyn, an Injured Nerves audio production. Hello, every fur in the Potatoheads. We hope you're all well and happy. I am Barely Normal, and with me is Taebyn. Hello, Taebyn.
Hello.
How's the pup this week?
Hello, Barely. Oh, this pup was it's been pretty good. Been busy week and stuff, but it's been good. I'm excited and happy to see you again. How has your week been, Barely? Oh, yes. And so for any fur that's listening, I should probably say, my name is Taebyn. I'm a pup. Bark.
There you go. And I've been better. We didn't mention this on the last episode, but since the last episode recording, I was diagnosed with the COVID. Been home alone. Well, actually, the husband caught it and the roommate caught it. So, all three of us have been quarantining in our house, and we are just quarantining like we should. And we're at about the about that 7-day mark, so we should be a whole lot better, going on better.
It's getting better, good. And you have had, and you're getting better, as you said, and that's wonderful. I hug you virtually, but yes. You've had happily a pretty mild case, so that's good, isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I just had the cough. Yesterday was the worst day for the cough. I don't think I stopped coughing for more than a minute and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yesterday.
So it ramped up and now you're on the down.
Oh, it ramped down, and it ramped up, and then it ramped down today. I woke up this morning and I was like,
I can breathe without coughing.
I can breathe without coughing. I'm so exciting. And in fact, the husband came into the office and he says, "You're not coughing as much." I said, I know.
I noticed that.
I noticed that because I could talk. Thank you.
Was he like, "Oh, that's unfortunate," because you can talk now?
He said, "I know, because now I don't want to murder you as much."
Oh, okay. So that's right. That's right. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
got it.
Because apparently the coffee is very annoying. In fact, I was coughing last night, and he says, "Will you just stop the coughing?" I said, "Oh, well, you know what? I'll just tell the COVID stop." Because no one has tried this yet. They haven't just tried communicating with the virus to say stop.
That's right. So this should have been a thing they did long ago. Is just maybe the virus just wants a little love and affection or something, and so we just need to communicate with it and say, "Hey, what are you going through, Mr. Virus?"
Mr. Virus, yes, we know you're novel because you're brand new, so that's why you're novel. So,
did you know? Do you know why they call it that? The novel coronavirus?
Because it was new.
Because in French, the French word for new, well, there's a few French words for new, but one is nouvelle.
Ah.
That's the feminine pronoun form. The masculine form is with N-O-V-E-L, so novel. So that's why they call it the novel coronavirus, because it's the new one. And of course, as we know, the coronavirus, I mean, that's like colds are coronavirus, but the
coronavirus,
nouvelle one, it's the new coronavirus.
The newest one, yes, hooray. And the 19 was because the year that it was discovered.
It's true, which I think a lot of first don't necessarily know, because it actually just started happening. Anyway, yes.
So even though we didn't go into quarantine until 20,
right? And I think that's why everyone
in 19, yeah.
I think that's why everyone is confused why it's called COVID-19.
But we happened into 20. No, never mind.
No. Actually, go back to November.
Right? Yeah, go back to November. So let's move right into last time today. We made it to the Ursa Major list, but we did not garner enough nominations to be considered for an award.
We are not wonderful enough to garner.
No, we garnered none.
We garnered none. But, I mean, there's still great furs and publications and things listed on Ursa Major. So go, and if it's still open when you listen to this, go and still do the vote. You won't be able to vote for us, but that's okay. Let's move on, shall we?
We talked last week about a guac musher, because we talked about guacamole.
Ah, yeah, I remember.
And so the traditional way to make guacamole is in a molcajete.
Molcajete.
Yes, it's like a mortar and pestle. So it's like a big stone bowl with a big stone handle that's rounded that you squish everything in the bowl. and that's where you make your guac. Now, in modern times, there's like the wooden tapered tool. I think you were talking about the wooden tool that's rounded on the end
Yeah,
last
yeah,
week,
that's the one. Yeah.
and that's actually called a muddler.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a bar tool, and you use it a lot when you're crushing ice in a glass or mint to make a mojito.
Oh,
You make the
mojito.
muddler, yeah.
Mojito.
And then the rest of all the guac tools are basically called mashers.
Mashers.
So
Okay.
guac masher.
So
If
in
you s-
Eng- in England, they have a lot of those tools because in restaurants they have a lot of bangers and mashers. I don't know.
mashers,
Never mind. I don't know.
so that brings me back to a very old term
Oh yeah.
for a very old term for a rude gentleman.
Hmm.
He was called a masher. Oh,
Really?
you masher!
Oh,
Yes.
you masher. Was
Oh,
that
you
like?
masher!
Is that what it meant? Where it meant? I've actually heard that term now that you say it. And I think I always
Yeah,
thought it was like a mugger or something, but it's just a bad person. So you masher.
you're a masher. Yes.
Okay, good.
I've
Good
got
to
the
know.
vapors. Oh no. And then we have to talk about the various computers that we talked about last week, the fictitious computers.
We talked about
So,
fictitious computers?
yes, we talked about the Whopper, which
Not the
is
not the Burger King Num Num,
not
but
the bird. No, but the Whopper, WOPR from the movie War Games. Um,
oh, now I remember. Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
And Whopper stands for War Operation Plan Response. That's why it was called the Whopper. Then HAL was the
Mhm.
computer from 2001, and HAL stands for Heuristically Programmed Algorithmic Computer. Yeah.
Mm,
Now,
okay.
what's interesting about that is you were trying to figure out which one said, "Would you like to play a game of chess?"
Yes.
The Whopper computer did play chess,
Okay,
as did Hal, but
okay.
neither one of them ever asked, "Do you want to play a game of chess?"
Really? So what am I
So,
thinking of?
well, you're thinking of in the movie War Games, it often would say, "Would you like to play a game?"
Yes.
And that's where it stopped. And then it would say, "What game would you like to play?" In the movie 2001,
Okay.
one of the opening scenes,
Uh-huh.
Hal is playing chess with Dave the astronaut.
Okay.
And they show that playing, and they talk about making the moves. Now, the move that Hal makes, he claims a move, and according to everybody that's read this and saw it in the movie, Hal is cheating.
Oh, really?
He made an illegal move during the chess game.
Oh, I'll have to watch this
So,
and look because
yeah,
this pup plays chess, so I'm really excited now to see if I can figure out what that illegal move was. I'll have to make a
yeah,
note of that. So what am I thinking of? Because I know I can hear it. I know there's something that says in some movie that says, "Would you like to play a game of chess?"
I'm sure there's a movie somewhere that says that,
I mean, but
but
it's specifically computer. I don't know.
okay. Well,
Uh,
we'll have to. I couldn't find one
oh,
because I actually typed that quote into the quotation finder on Google
and it didn't.
and nothing popped up. So
I
if
wonder.
you know the movie, then we need to find
I'll
it.
make a note, and this will be a last time
Yeah.
today, and maybe I'm just making things up.
It wouldn't be the first time.
It hinder fruit.
I want to throw out this week's random challenge. This week's random challenge to our fur is if you're walking down the street and you see a parking meter about to expire, throw a quarter in it. That's my random challenge.
That's a good
There we
random
go.
challenge. That's right. We started that last week of a random challenge for furs. So
Mhm.
yes, random challenge for you furs. I realized something this week, and would you like to know what I realized?
What did you realize?
I realized that every grocery store, like everywhere in the world, I
Uh-huh.
think probably every grocery store has like a favorite place to shop to buy things. And I realized this because every food in the grocery store says Best Buy.
What?
I mean,
What?
right? I mean, like some say Best Buy February 1st, 2021 or something, but they all say Best Buy. So I don't know what the numbers mean.
Oh,
I don't know what the
I
numbers
gotcha.
mean. I just know that they all want to go to Best Buy for whatever reason.
I'm gonna open the mailbag.
Okay.
Oh, and we have a letter.
We do. That's exciting.
It looks very official. Let me open it up here.
In this case,
Mm,
it's a bear shoal
a bear shoal.
because it's not
A bear
official.
shoal? Oh, ha, okay.
Although bears
So,
do like fish. You like fish, so maybe there's a nice overlap there.
yes. Oh, this is a letter from the Bureau of Public Greetings in Geneva.
In Geneva, is that Florida?
No, that's Switzerland.
Oh wow, this is international. This is
Yeah.
take time.
It says, "Dear Mr. Barely and Mr. Taebyn." Wow,
Hi,
misters. We're
I
misters.
know.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for your submission to the International Greeting Committee for your suggestion of the term MooBarkFluff.
Oh, good. So they're getting back to us on that. That's
Right.
exciting.
To be used in all greetings in substitution for a handshake. The committee has considered your suggestion and deliberated. The decision was made to allow the term MooBarkFluff for all greetings and departures, much like the term aloha, when deemed appropriate in limited and specialized usage determined by the practitioner and when
Mm,
both parties acknowledge such as a form of greeting.
this
Well, that was a
sounds
very
very
official
legal.
signing
I was
sounding
just
letter.
thinking
Yeah.
the same thing. This is a very
Yeah.
legal thing happening right now.
Right. Says while this will not be mandated as a replacement worldwide, we could, we
But
hoped, but you know,
but maybe not mandated, but pup dated anyway.
maybe, yeah. Says we encourage you to spread the usage freely within your social circles with the full support of
Oh,
the committee.
okay.
Sincerely, MooBarkFluff. Oh, he used it as his
He
closing.
used it. Okay, so he's on board. He's on board.
Mr. Johann von Barks.
Well,
Well, there
Mr.
we go.
Johann von Barks, thank you so much. This is great. I will, as you suggested, I will tweet this. I will do something else with social media this um, and
Yeah.
try and promote the message of the Mubarak Fluff greeting. So
Yeah,
thank you. And
that's
that's really exciting because, of course, barely you remember, but if any of our listeners don't remember, several episodes ago, maybe it's been a month now.
it's been a month or so, yeah, or a
I
couple of months.
a couple months. It was a while ago, but these things take time. I had
Yeah,
suggested
bureaucracy.
I was really all for instead of our greeting, instead of hi or a handshake, we should Mubarak fluff. And so finally, it's making its way through its ranks, and we have our answer. So that's very very exciting.
We'll have to make sure that we use it on the closing of our episodes.
Yeah. Now that we went through all that, we should actually use it.
Yes, right? That's amazing what we should do. So, let's see what else is going on. That was the only thing in the mailbag, just that one letter.
Well, I have some mailbag.
Oh, you have some things in the mailbag.
I do.
Wow. Well, let me hear them.
And in that mailbag was a book that I ordered. And so I want to just really talk really quickly about the book I ordered as a shout out.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
and this book is called The Tales of Haven Celestia 13 Stories of Striving for Peace in a Treacherous Universe. I'm excited
Wow.
about it. Yeah. And it's edited by Rick Griffin, House Pets.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and I don't know how you pronounce this. It's GRE7G Luderman. So I don't know if that's Greg 7G, but there it is.
Probably.
This was actually copyrighted 2019 by Rick Griffin, and the first edition came out in 2020. So this is a really new thing. I'm really excited about it. And I want to read the synopsis on the back about it for any further that's interested. Classified as a science fiction, something long and sinuous eclipsed the searing sunlight, lifeless and limp. The Kraken captain of his vessel spiraled nearby. His commander, his better, his god. He failed. Failure. Unworthy. He'd run. The breaching pod had come through the wall, and he'd run. The laser at his hip had never even been cleared the holster. He'd seen the look of disgust on the commander's face as he had passed in the opposite direction. Coward! Puppy. Worthless. Then something hit the hole, and whipping atmosphere carried him out into the freezing, burning void of empty space. Tales of Haven Celestia features 13 stories of ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances far beyond their making or control. They will succeed or fail by only the thinnest of margins, and the stakes have never been higher. They are gambling not only with their own lives, but with their whole worlds. Everyone they have ever met, and even some they haven't. So this is pretty
Well,
exciting. This is pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to I'm reading it, looking at it, and so it's a furry book, and
Mhm.
I got it on Amazon, and actually on Amazon it has 5 stars out of 23 reviews, so that's actually pretty good for a furry book. So I say
Yeah.
check out the new readings, and Rick Griffin does have. So that Greg Luterman does have several of the short stories in there, and Rick Griffin
Mhm.
has he wrote one of the last ones. So I'm excited to read
Nice.
it. Yeah, yeah, good stuff.
Very cool.
Oh,
Very cool.
and another mail bag I have.
Yes.
I'm all crazy this week.
I know.
So this week, my hubby got for me. I got it in the mail surprise today with the book. Well, separate. I didn't know this was coming. He got me some like outside puppy running pants so that I can like run around outside and in like a true puppy
And
fashion with some pantsies.
not be naked?
So I don't know, maybe that should offend this little puppy self because that's what puppies do. But anyway, and so the noteworthy thing about it was, you know how on like pansies and stuff they have little tags and everything, like
Yeah.
how large they are and sometimes washing instructions. This one had a book of tags. It had 4 tags and like not normal, you know the long tags you see every now and then.
Mhm.
It had 4 of them and they were
Good
all
grief.
in small print and all front and back. So if you were even looking for washing instructions, it should have its own like index or table of contents or something. Anyway, we thought this was a new thing that I never seen that you need a book for the tag. It's like you have to go online just to find out where in the book of tags you can find what you're looking for. So anyway, and that's my mailbag for the week.
So let's move on to media, shall we? All right. So I'm going to start with the Cobra Kai update.
Okay.
Episode 8, Season
Numero-
1,
Season
Episode
1.
8. Things are coming to a head in Episode
Ooh.
8, Season 1. Robbie and Danny go to the woods to balance on a tree and a rock. So that's my first impression of the show.
So they're not in
So-
Iran, but they're in Iraq now.
So Danny, of course, teaches Robbie how to do all the kicks and stuff, and they have all these vignettes of flying over them on the dock, doing the kicks in slow motion and in synchronization, and it's all sweet and lovey-dovey and everything. And then he makes him go stand on a tree, and he falls down.
I
Because he
remember
tries to
this
do the
episode.
roundhouse kick, and he falls down.
Yep.
So he tells him, you have to keep staying on the tree until you can do the kicks without falling off the tree. And he walks away. Robbie, of course, learns how to do the kicks on the tree, and he goes to find Danny, and Danny is doing his best impersonation of Luke Skywalker, standing on his hands on a rock with his legs apart, and then he stands on one hand. And my first thought was, that's just the same pose that Luke Skywalker did in Star Wars.
It's the exact same one. I think if I remember right, the like scenery is the exact same thing on
pretty much, it's brighter. Yeah.
Not Begida.
So-
what is it's the
Dagobah.
Dagobah. That's right.
Dagobah,
Same
yeah.
scenery, everything. Yep.
So this is also where Johnny cleans up his act a bit. He cleans up his apartment. He hangs a TV on the wall. He
hangs a
furniture.
TV on the wall.
Yeah, in his apartment, Johnny
Oh
does.
yeah, I guess you can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that not only with pictures, but you can hang a TV. Okay, I forget things sometimes. Okay, got it.
So, but I'm still a little unsure that he's an adult yet because he's quite irresponsible. He takes his dojo to the junkyard, to the auto wreck yard.
I remember this. Yeah.
Walk across a beam with glass and sharp instruments below them. So if they fall, they're really going to get hurt or killed. And I'm thinking, this is not a responsible adult. However, so, and then of course, Enrique, which is Johnny's #1 student, he is in love with Danny LaRusso's daughter, and he goes over unannounced.
Sam,
yes. Mm-hmm. And he goes over unannounced and looks around back, and there is everybody having dinner with Robbie. Robbie's having dinner and flirting with Sam. So,
snap.
The final scene, of course, is Danny's stupid cousin and the 2 bikers beating Johnny's car up and just trashing it and setting it ablaze. And then, of course, Johnny kicks their butts. with his magic karate moves. Then he races off on one of the bikers' motorcycles to Danny LaRusso's house. So I'm sure that the opening scenes for episode 9 will be electric and full of violence.
But so what are you thinking about the show? Has your opinion
Well,
changed or anything?
my opinion, I've moved my opinion of Danny not much. I still think he's holding on to a grudge. I
Okay.
still think he's just not quite all there. My opinion of Johnny has moved up a couple of notches because he's trying to make
He's
himself
trying
better.
to he knows how to hang a TV. That's pretty good.
He knows
I
how to
couldn't do
hang a
that.
TV. Yeah. And he knows how to write a letter to his son. But I think when he
He's
sees
literate. That's great.
I think when he sees his son having dinner with Danny, that there's going to be some problems.
You think so,
But
huh?
I think that there will be a culmination of problematic things that occur because Danny's going to realize who Robbie is. Johnny's going to realize what's going on, and I think there's going to be some problems. So that was my Cobra Kai recap. What else? I watched the new Tom and Jerry movie, which I thought was kind of funny because then I read a review of the Tom and Jerry movie on Flera.
Oh, after Count Flair. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and I agree with the reviewer on Flera. Jerry's kind of a jerk.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
It's good to know. Good to
and
know.
Jerry's the mouse, by the way. He's kind of a jerk, and I never really thought about it that way. But once, I'm watching the movie, I think, wow, Jerry's kind of an ass. And then
And then
when
it turns
Flair is
out
the reviewer writes the same thing, I'm like, yeah, he kind of is. I somebody else agrees with me. So there you go. It was a cute movie. I have to say they stayed pretty true to the Hanna-Barbera style, but I thought it was really funny because Tom and Jerry are cartoon animals
Mhm.
and they're interacting in a live action setting, and there are lots of other cartoon animals. Now, all the cartoon animals, except for Tom and Jerry, talk.
I think I
Why
remember that
doesn't
about I don't
yeah,
know.
why why do they not talk? All the rest of them talk. I don't understand. But
Maybe they're aspiring what's the word? Aspiring. That's the word I'm looking for. Aspiring mimes.
aspiring mimes
The first
want to there's a joke there. I can't make it though. I can't figure it out.
can't quite
Aspiring mimes
want to know.
want to know something about that, but it's got to be a joke with mimes. We'll have to work on that. And then the other thing
Yay.
I watched this week was The Guest Book on Hulu. It's really funny. They're about 30 minutes long, and they're all about cabins. The first season is about a cabin in the woods that people go and rent. It's the things that they happen in the cabins. Now, the premise of this series, the writer of this series, I found out just recently, that was his hobby. When he would rent cabins or hotel rooms or something like that, he would make up these stories and write them in the guest books at the various places he went and visited. And
Oh, that's okay.
so now he's making
Interesting.
the series of all the stories he ever wrote in
That's
all the guest
awesome.
books.
I'll have to check this out. That's awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yep, yep, yep.
Is that and you said Hulu?
It's on Hulu. Yep.
Okay.
That's all the TV that I've been watching. How about you?
Let's see. So we have been still watching Lucifer, still liking it. I think my hubby is liking it a little more these days because he's not falling asleep right away. So that's probably a good sign. And Young and Hungry. So we're on season 5, and we have, as of today, 1 episode left in season 5 to watch. And that's it right now. There's no season 6 at the moment. One of the episodes we watched today was actually really good. Gabby wasn't as annoying and whiny and as usual, but no, it was actually a really good episode. It will not be a bad thing to like have this season over and move on to something else temporarily, I'll just say. And we watched a movie. Have you seen In the Heart of the Sea?
I have not.
I forget which. I think it's recent. It's Titanic-esque. It's a naval thing. You've got, you're on the sea and stuff. And I've never been too much of a nautical pup, but it was pretty good. It was actually really good. Really liked it. As I say, Titanic-esque.
Does the ship sink?
Yes, and that's not
Oh,
too much of a spoiler because that it's not like that happens in the end. It's like one of the things that happen.
Okay.
And then they are, you know, they're stranded for like a long time. And you know, if you remember the movie The Life of Pi, I don't know if you saw that.
Never saw it, but I've heard of it. Yes.
Yeah, we saw. I really liked it. Life of Pi was a good movie. Anyway, if anyone's ever seen that, it's like that, except for more than just one person, and there's no tiger involved. So maybe it's not like the Life of Pi, but that's what comes to mind. Um, but so it's pretty good. It's good drama. It's got Tom Holland, which has been the Spider-Man in the recent Spider-Man movies. And that's
Okay.
great. Yeah. It's a precursor to the book Moby Dick. And in
Oh,
fact,
okay.
it starts out with the writer, the author of Moby Dick, goes over to one of the survivors of the boats and stuff,
Hmm.
and gets the story and stuff. And so then he writes the book, the Moby Dick. So
Ah,
it's a precursor. So it's pretty
okay.
cool. And it's interesting because I just happened to be finishing up, you know, I listen to our podcasts after they come out, but I'm behind.
Hmm.
And I just recently finished episode 41, in which I said, and I forget why, but I said, it's a hump like a snow hill. It is Moby Dick. So I remember it's interesting that we just happened to watch this movie when I had just finished listening to me say, anyway, hi. And
I know
so that
the world is interconnected more than we know.
it really, really, really is.
Yeah.
And speaking of which your husband sent me a really nice text about these things, which maybe I'll have to do on a future math. Actually, it is really a cool
Hmm.
scientific thing about imaginary numbers that he sent me. Anyway, maybe I'll
Oh,
talk about that sometime. So
do it.
actually, I have three more medias.
Oh,
One
wow. Okay.
is I finally uploaded the Virtual FC podcast.
Yes, you did.
At FC, further confusion, was a virtual con this year back in January, and we recorded the pupcast live and everything, which means there was no editing. Finally, I uploaded it to my YouTube so you can see it there. And two shout outs, one to Thunder Wolfie because he made it onto the 5-minute furs for fun. And he talked about how he always listens to us every week. And so shout out to Thunder Wolfie. So glad you enjoy us. And we hug you tight with posies for that. Another shout out to 3 Retired Rabbits was one of the participants. I hadn't noticed this in the recording, but going back, I noticed 3 Retired Rabbits held up a sign that said, "We love Taebyn," and
Aw.
held that up for a while. And I'm sorry if you're listening to this, 3 Retired Rabbits. Sorry I didn't say anything about it at the time of the recording. I didn't notice, but I totally appreciate that now. So thank you so much. I hug you tight with posies. So
Everybody loves you
that's
more.
just because of that.
Mom always loved you best.
Mom always liked you best.
I hope so. Do I have any idea what's happening right now?
It's a throwback to a 1960s comedy team called the Smothers Brothers.
I've heard of them, and apparently they did something about the mom.
Yeah, Mom always liked you best.
What do you mean? My mom always liked my brother best, and she never liked me.
No, I had not heard that. I have
And what's
2
your
more
final?
media.
Oh,
I have 2
more.
more. I
Okay.
have 2 more.
Well, you said 3, but now that's 4.
Oh, I meant 3 more. It's 4
Oh.
total. 4 total.
Okay.
I know. So my next one is, I know, like, don't let me actually make notes for the show during the week, because then, like, I make notes and then I have these things that happen.
But
So
that's all right. Keep going.
my next one is a rant, actually, and I don't rant
Uh-oh.
very often, but I've heard it, and I tweeted about this several times. But so when you go to YouTube videos and stuff, not just furry, it's just generally you go to YouTube videos, and you know, a lot of the times at the very beginning, they'll be like, "Oh, don't forget to subscribe and like and okay." And so, okay, here's the video. Here's what I'm going to do. You know what happens like more than not actually these days? You go there and you go to watch a video. And maybe you don't know who's doing the video, maybe not. And it just looks interesting. So you want to watch it. And who's ever making the video, and literally several times, the first 2 minutes of the video are them saying, "Oh, hey, like, subscribe, and here's why, because I'm blah, 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 I'm great and everything, and you can do this for me, and you can do this for me, and I have a Ko-Fi, and blah, blah, and so ring that bell," and they say these things for literally 2 minutes at the beginning of and it's like several times I have not even watched the video, which means they lost a subscriber because I don't even know what the video is about, because they took 2 minutes telling me about how great they are. And well, Let me be the judge. Let me watch the actual video to know if I actually want to watch more of your stuff. So it's like so it wasted a minute and a half. I mean, sometimes it takes a minute and a half of my time because they've got to be done now. They've got to be done now. But they're not. And so then it's wasted a minute and a half of my time when I could be watching hamsters play with kitties or something in that minute and a half. Yeah. But no, or watch Kittysaurus. So shout out to the YouTube channel, Kittysaurus. It's really great, really great. It actually is Kittysaurus. Check it out. And they don't do that. Anyway, so that's my rant about that.
We don't do that on your YouTube channel either.
And we don't.
We go right into it.
We actually go right into it. Anyway, I mean, I understand why they do, and I had a few responses on my Twitter to it and saying, "Yeah, I know why they do it. I hate it too." And so I understand they got to do it, but it's really not helping you out. Anyway,
nope.
So my last media. Speaking of Twitter, is the other day, I know a while ago at this point, but I tweeted a bark tweet. All I said was, if you respond to this tweet, then I will respond with a bark.
I saw that tweet. I saw that tweet.
You saw that tweet.
I saw that
tweet. Yeah. And like my tweets don't get many likes. I mean, I might get 2 or 3 likes. Responses, like, if I'm lucky, 5 furs will respond to my tweets. It's like no one cares what I have to say or anything. So it's not a lot, but in my world, this is a lot. I have 190 likes on this. And this is, I mean, it's awesome and crazy and so cute at the same time. And I have had 161 responses.
Wow.
To this. And I have responded bark. And sometimes in special cases said more than bark. I've responded bark to every one of these 161 responses, as far as I can tell. I mean, sometimes you might miss one, but I wanted to be faithful to what I said I would do. That's my extensive media for this week.
Wow. I have to say, I'm impressed that you have 161 responses to a tweet.
And especially that tweet that's like really, really cute. And 190 and 9 retweets nonetheless.
Wow, there you go.
So that was adorable. So shout out to any fur that might listen to this that responded to that tweet. That was so cute and great of you.
I think it's time we get to our guest. Our guest this week is Misha B. Barkin.
B. Barkin!
Joining us today is Misha B. Barkin. Welcome to the show, Misha.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, no.
Wait, do that again? I didn't quite get that. Hello.
Howdy.
Howdy, indeed.
All right, so let's start this off with, when did you start being furry and what brought you to it?
So when I started being a furry was kind of a blurred point. It was around high school in 2010. I remember seeing the telephone squeak videos going around that time. Yeah, so it's been a bit, and I just remember thinking that those were super cute. I definitely was always admiring furries from afar, but for some reason in high school I was like, oh, I gotta be cool, and furries aren't cool. So, and then I got to college and I got over that.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, just realized, hey, this is actually something I do want to do. And then I ended up getting invited to a Telegram chat. And then I was like, oh my God, there's furries everywhere. I'm surrounded by them.
There are furries everywhere, yes.
Yeah. And then I went to a furry barbecue in 2019, and yeah, the rest is just kind of...
I hope that was a barbecue that you didn't eat the furries at.
No.
They didn't barbecue the furries then.
No, it was mac and cheese.
It wasn't that type of meat. I mean, they do have the cannibal fur meat, but there's not much of that anymore because, well, all that meat is gone. Ha! I just did a stupid thing.
It was a fur meat.
Yeah,
I got it.
Okay. Anyway, hi. So, hello.
Hello.
I think I know the answer to this question I'm about to ask. So would you be okay if I asked it, even though I already know the answer?
Sure.
Okay. The question is that we've been waiting for like 10 hours now for me to ask is, do you have a fursona?
I do.
I thought that would be the answer. So tell us about your fursona.
Misha is a husky sheep mix.
Husky sheed?
Sheep, like Shiba Inu.
Sheep. Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
What's a sheed?
I thought you said it was a sheep mix with a husky sheep mix.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That would be a little weird of a mix, though, because then you're like trying to herd yourself all the time.
Yeah, just running in a circle, chasing my own tail.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just two of my favorite dog breeds. I just went with a pretty basic color palette that you would see in a sheep and just added the black hair because I have black hair and blue eyes. And yeah, it just slowly developed over time. My fiance Splat is a much better artist than I am, so they helped me design Misha on paper.
That's very awesome and possum and wonderful. And how long have you had fursona? How long have you been puppy?
Oh boy. So Misha as a dog has been, I think, like 3 or 4 years. And then he was originally a Pokesona.
Oh, really?
Which was a Leafeon. And that was all the way back in middle school.
All the way back.
So yeah, I made the jump.
So that's where Leafeon comes from.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Twitter handle, I've been meaning to change that, but then I made my in screen and it's a lot of work to edit text. So I'm wanting to change my Twitter handle because I've been kind of gaining subscribers. So I don't want like that disconnect, but I don't want to remake the end screen. So I just haven't changed it yet because then I'd have to update the end screen.
Oh my cow.
Oh, yeah.
And so then you be Barkin.
I do be Barkin. I don't actually remember how that like became set in stone as Misha B. Barkin. I know that B. Barkin is, I think it's from a children's book, if I remember correctly. There's a character named something B. Barkin. So, copyright might become an issue someday.
We'll cross that bridge when we
cross
get
that
there.
bridge. But,
kind of like how Ted E. Bear is a children's story thing.
Yeah.
Middle initial E, of course.
Yeah. But it was just, one day it was just like, oh, Misha B. Barkin. And I was like, oh, that kind of flows pretty well. So it just kind of stuck since then.
Does kind of flow. And I also say, what's this marshmallow thing of which you speak?
Yeah, that was whenever people are talking about Shiba Inus, they will often refer to them as like, oh, different variations of a cooked marshmallow, like a burnt marshmallow or like, yeah.
That's true. That is a true thing.
It was originally Misha or Marshmallow. And then unfortunately the marshmallow thing really didn't stick.
Well, maybe we should work on that, I guess.
Maybe.
I mean, because marshmallows stick when you get them all hot, I guess.
They do.
They're very sticky.
They are extremely sticky.
So why didn't it stick? You have the wrong type of marshmallow.
Apparently, yeah. It was just, I think Misha B. Barkin just flows way better and it's more memorable, I guess. I don't know.
It is.
Yeah.
It's better than Misha B. Marshmallow, but yeah. I mean, that kind of flows too.
A little bit.
But I don't know how you would be marshmallowing though.
I do not know.
Or maybe if you needed to morph a little bit more, you could Misha B. Mini colorful marshmallowing. Because they have the okay.
That's a lot.
So
that's a lot of letters.
That's a lot of
letters. You should abbreviate that. Yeah, should just abbreviate that. So back in the day, in the long ago, in the before times, how many cons would you normally attend, and what were they?
Before the plague.
When I saw you at Spokanthro, yeah, that's the only one.
Okay. No.
Yep, Spokanthro 2019 was my debut con, and it was its debut con, and then I had plans to go to Furlandia and Anthro Northwest in 2020, but it's this little thing going around. I don't know if you've heard of, but yeah, it's so kind of messing with daily life.
So the next question would be, do you have a favorite con? And I'm hoping the answer is Spokanthro, because if it's not, that means you didn't like it very well.
If I had to choose, I genuinely had a good time at Spokanthro.
Yeah,
good.
It was like when I was first discovering the furry community, I was like, okay, cool. There's a con right in my back door, I might as well go. And yeah, it was right there. And I ended up having a really good time. I met some of my really close friends there and just kind of sunk what am I trying to say? It just kind of like solidified my presence in the community.
Solidified. That's a good word. was your favorite part or parts of Spokane Throw? Just we're doing a plug for Spokane Throw now, you see.
Clearly, yes.
Yeah. I really liked, I guess, just like meeting all the different furs around, because I didn't realize there were that many furries around, and just being able to talk to a bunch of different people. One of the seminars,
panels,
the panels, that's the word. One of the panels I attended was like, so this is your first furry convention, and one of the things I really remembered from that was the person was like, you know, nobody knows it's you under the suit, so don't act shy. And that just kind of has stuck with me this whole time.
Nice. I think it was
yeah,
it was Gene that hosted that panel, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, which is really unlike Gene because he's grumpy.
Yeah. So we hope he's.
I could just see him up there. So this is your first FurCon. All right. Well, don't be stingy because no one knows it's you underneath the suit.
Perfect likeness of Gene right there.
I know. We're gonna get hate mail from Gene at this point.
This is the only pupisode Gene is gonna hear, and he's just gonna
right. It'll be the only one he listens to. Right. Yeah.
That'll be good. So what did you do? I mean, did you just hang out, or did you go do all the panels, or do the dances?
I didn't do the dances. I'm not exactly built for dancing.
Well, neither am I, so I understand.
Yeah, you know, I went to the karaoke thing. That was a lot of fun to watch. I didn't quite have the confidence to get up there myself, and then a lot of it was just roughly decided, hey, I want to do YouTube. So a lot of it was gathering footage for that.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't just roughly how it went, but it was Barkley how it went. Because you were getting pausage for the
pausage, not footage. Yeah.
Anyway, so that leads me into then you have a YouTube channel. It turns out. Did you know this?
I was made aware of this recently.
Really? Okay. And did whoever told you that you have a YouTube? Did they tell you that you made videos for this YouTube that you have that you didn't know you have, but now you do?
Yeah, they gave me a little rundown and they're like, okay, this is yours now. And I was like, oh, all right, I guess I'll run this.
Well, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
How many videos do you have posted on YouTube so far?
I don't have an exact answer.
Okay.
It's
ballpark.
I think it's around 50. Not like a lot, but not
a lot.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, you know, a lot of YouTube people don't put out near that many. I mean, they put out like once a month or once every 2 months.
At first, it was really sparse when I would upload. In August, I was stuck inside, no job, and I was like, okay, now's a good time to try and get this YouTube thing up and running. And since August, I've been posting roughly every Friday.
Nice.
I think I've taken like 2 or 3 Fridays off, but yeah, and it's become part of my routine, and it's just been a lot of fun, and just seeing the growth and seeing people liking and commenting and enjoying the videos and the corny jokes I make. It's been a lot of fun.
And so in the beginning then, what got you into it? What made you start it? What are the types of videos that we can see there?
How I got into YouTube was actually my senior year of high school. I actually started uploading Yu-Gi-Oh videos.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Where I would I was a kind of professional Yu-Gi-Oh player. I didn't get paid for it, but I enjoyed playing competitively, so I would talk about like different decks that were in the meta. And that just sizzled out because it became a chore to keep up with that. So I kind of let YouTube go for a few years, and then I discovered the furry community and really got into that. And I can't remember a video where I genuinely was like, oh, this is going to be a chore to make. I don't enjoy doing this. Nothing like when I was making the Yu-Gi-Oh videos.
I kind of got taxing on the fluff, as it were.
Yeah,
we don't want that.
No, with the furry YouTube, it's just been topics I enjoy talking about. As for what I upload, I cover various topics within the furry community. This can range from like fun, playful topics to convention videos when I get to go to those again.
And you do have a Spokane Throw video. I do know this for sure.
I do. And then very, very, very rarely, I have played music in exactly 2 videos.
Exactly 2. So we've got an exact count on that.
So like you played music like a DJ or on your little woodwind?
On my woodwinds. My first video on my channel is me trying to play woodwinds in the suit of Misha that I had just got. So
how did that work?
It didn't.
Okay.
So I hadn't made any of the like modifications to Misha yet to make playing easier. So I could barely like fit a saxophone mouthpiece in the mouth, and it just squeaked really bad. It was not a good time.
Oh, so all of a sudden you were an angel dragon, Dutch angel dragon, because you were squeaking and all of a sudden.
Yeah. I became the thing that got me into the community.
I was just thinking, hey, see, I see how this works. Okay, I see how this works.
So that first video was Misha B squeaking.
Yeah, it was. That's exactly right.
And then for a Christmas special, I arranged a version of We Wish You a Merry Christmas for melodica, alto sax, bari sax, and clarinet. And then I played that all in fursuit and recorded all of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a bit of a chore, but you know, it was a lot of fun, and I feel like the end product turned out okay.
Semi.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. It's good to be a simi. So do you have so you like all the videos you did? You have fun doing them all, and that's great. That's we want. And do you have like a favorite video that you've done?
I did a Halloween video. The videos where I'm actually wearing the suit, I feel like are a lot more fun to make because then I get to move around and be animated a little bit. I also did a Valentine's Day video recently. It was like purposely awful.
Oh.
It was like, oh, here's some like foolproof, fluff-proof ways to talk to your crush, and then it went to a black screen and was like, God, please don't do any of these things. And I just proceeded to give the worst advice imaginable.
Well, that's amazing. So won't it be great when you find out next year every fur is so mad at you because like you gave them advice and all of a sudden they're single and it's all your fault.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. So you mentioned you're a woodwind player. Tell us about that. Like what's the woodwind you play?
So the woodwinds that I play is flute, clarinet. I'm learning clarinet. The definition of play is very, very broad with the clarinet, oboe, and then the saxophone family.
So real quick, explain why a flute is part of the woodwind family.
They were originally made of wood, and for the most part, when you talk about woodwinds, you're referring to the instruments that have keys, as opposed to trumpets and trombones, which are valved instruments. Well, the trombone isn't, but they're more of a brass valve instrument, whereas the woodwind has individual keys for each finger. And that's why a saxophone, even though it's made out of brass, is part of the woodwind family.
What about a French horn?
That is a brass instrument that for some reason is in woodwind quintets.
What about a piano?
That one's kind of, I've heard multiple things about that one, because technically, it's considered a string instrument because there's strings. It could be considered a percussion instrument because it's hammers hitting the strings.
And there's wood and there's wind in it, so it could be a woodwind instrument.
There we go.
And what about those, like, the things of one-man band things where they wear everything? Is that like a woodwind?
That is
That's a lot of wind. See, okay.
That's a multi-wind.
That's a lot of wind, yeah.
And if you're going to play it, you woodwind. So, and
Moving along. I do not want Taebyn to ask every instrument in the orchestra.
And so what about a triangle? No. Okay. So what kind of genres do you play? Oh, and I meant to ask, how long have you been playing and what kind of genres do you like to play?
Flute has been since 5th grade. That's the longest one, and that's my main instrument. Saxophone since high school, and oboe for 3 or 4 years, and I just purchased a clarinet. As for what genres, I definitely like playing more of like jazz.
Nice.
I've dipped my toes in ska a little bit,
nice.
But ska's kind of hard. And then
with the sax, I imagine, not with the flute, right?
Yeah, no.
Ska with a flute.
Ska with a flute.
I mean, you could do. I mean, there was Jethro Tull. Jethro Tull did really hard rock with the flute. So,
what's it called? Not a kaleidoscope, because that's not a woodwind in the
Calliope.
What's the theme that goes woo whoop?
You're talking about the Calliope?
No. It goes woo whoop.
A slide whistle?
I think it's called a slide whistle. Yeah.
Oh, a slide whistle.
It goes woo whoop.
I thought maybe you were talking about a theremin.
A theremin. Isn't it like a type of fur that? No, that's a. Oh, no. What's a theremin? No.
Well, you'll have to look it up.
I will be a lookup pup, and I'm gonna theremin. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, so you also compose music?
I do. Very rarely.
Okay.
It's what I originally thought was gonna be the thing that I sunk most of my time in, but slowly it's becoming the furry community.
So
I
what
made
kind of music did you compose?
Honestly varies. I was definitely doing a lot more weird stuff during quarantine. I did a piece for 2 altos where one of the altos had an echo pedal the whole time. So that was a lot of fun. And then I got commissioned to compose a piece for Spokanthro 2020.
Oh, cool.
And so I think the plan was to use that in 2021. 2021 got canned.
2022.
So I think we're pushing it back to 2022.
No, that's very cool. That's very cool.
So I got to write a very circusy sounding piece for like a
That's
wind
right,
ensemble.
because that's their
Yes,
their
that's
theme.
right, yeah.
Yeah, Circus of Fluff.
I see.
Yes.
I am a smart fluff sometimes. I see where this is going. It's coming around. I want to go back and ask, what are your favorite ska bands?
Streetlight Manifesto is definitely a solid recommendation. I think you posted, Taebyn, about looking for ska bands, and I replied, Streetlight Manifesto.
Oh, was that you? Because I did tweet that, and I wasn't sure. Some first said, and I looked it up, and I've only heard one song, but I like it. Then I think I posted it because it's like all furry ska kind of and stuff.
I think you did.
So, well, thank you for that.
Another band I've been listening to is Real Big Fish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't, I like the old ska or scowl, Real Big Fish.
Scowl.
I haven't really heard the newer stuff, but they're kind of, I think of them as punk ska.
Yeah, I definitely do as well.
I used to know like a lot of the history and like first wave, second wave, third wave ska, skunkcore, punk ska, all the skanking and the broody, won't you listen to me and all that stuff.
So tell us about your social media besides YouTube. Where are you on besides YouTube?
I don't think Misha has told us the YouTube yet. Where are you on YouTube, first of all?
Oh, yeah, he hasn't. Yeah.
That's just Misha B. Barkin.
Oh,
yeah. It's just my same name as that's going to be on the podcast.
That's easy. That makes it easy.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's the same name. Yeah, there you go.
And then my Instagram, which honestly is kind of has no posts and like a tumbleweed tumbling through it right now. I don't use Instagram very often.
Same here. We are of like fluff.
Yeah, it's just not for me. But if you are so inclined, that one's also Misha B. Barkin. Twitter right now is Misha the Leafeon. I do have plans to change that to some form of Misha B. Barkin in the future, just to avoid the disconnect. Have the same name everywhere.
Come on. Let's have some variety here, or not, as it were.
No,
consistency.
Consistency. Yes.
Yes. It needs to be cohesive.
Yes, we know about cohesive. Again, last time I said this, and I'll say it again. Any fur that gets that reference right there about cohesive gets so many cookies and so many hugs. But if you don't get that reference, then
no cookies for you.
No cookies for you.
No cookies for you.
We have no cookies today. That makes absolutely no sense. I don't know why I just did that. Oh, I know why. I figured out. Do you know why I did that?
Why?
Because I am a pup.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah.
That makes sense. Oh, speaking of which, Misha, I should introduce myself. My name is Taebyn. I'm a pup. Bark, bark. Hello.
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 Well, better late than never, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So.
Do you also have a Ko-Fi so that furs can, if they wanted?
I do. I don't have the link right now.
Oh,
that's okay. You can send it to us later. We can post it on the show notes.
Okay, cool. And the thing with that is, if you buy a Ko-Fi, I think that's how they say it. I just got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you buy it, I'll say your name in the video.
Ooh,
this is the trade-off.
So any fur out there listening, you could get your name said on a video if you buy him a Ko-Fi. Actually, I don't know if it's coffee or Ko-Fi. I think it's Ko-Fi.
I feel like it's coffee.
I think they're trying to do that. Yeah,
because it's like buy me a coffee. Is my
right.
thing.
But on Ko-Fi, you can say anything. Buy me a soda, buy me a coffee, buy me a cupcake, whatever you want to call it.
Can you say buy me a one-man band triangle trumpet machine?
I think you could.
Sure, if you want to. Yeah, call it anything you want.
And would your name get shouted? Actually, your name wouldn't get a shout out on the video. You would get shouted at for making that happen. Actually, I feel.
Yes, you would.
So, Mr. Misha, is there anything that you would like our listeners to know about you or things
that we haven't already covered?
I guess one of the things is I have a decent microphone, so if anyone out there needs like any music recordings, like flute, saxophone, or anything, throw a message my way. I'd be more than happy to play something.
But don't throw a curveball, because then you might not get it.
No, he chased the ball.
You chase it, right?
Yes,
right. So you would get it, actually. Yeah. Good for you.
And then my fiance Splattered is open for commissions. They're the ones who drew all of the stills that are in my videos.
Oh, so it's an artist, because you say commission, and like that could mean anything. So is that like somersaults outside around the tree, or we can commission you for that?
I would take commissions for that.
Good.
Sure. So would I.
Just to see what that actually even looks like.
Yeah, sure. Cool. So this is putting you on the spot. Would you like to play something on your flute for us?
Oh, boy.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Let me go grab it. Let's see if I have any playing chops right now.
So is that like you're finding a bunny and you got to go grab it?
Oh, my God.
Oh, really? Wow.
I mean...
Okay.
I mean, you know, I couldn't exactly resist.
Oh, see, there's a flute.
I hear a rabbit.
That would make him a flautist.
On the C. Unless he's playing in the key of D minor, then he's not a flautist on the C.
No, he's not a minor. He's 23.
Oh, okay. So I'm wrong everywhere. Okay.
I guess I'll play a little bit of a song called Hypnosis.
Okay.
By Ian Clark.
Nice.
All right. Take it away, Misha.
Nice. Have you played that before?
No, very well.
Yes, this is a piece that I was working on this quarter.
Wow. Nice. Very nice. Yes. It was very cool, hypnotic in your playing the melody.
Hey.
Play some ska really quick on the flute for us. I think that's a given.
Or make something up that's ska-ish.
I don't know that one. I thought I knew that one a little bit.
That's okay. You know, even if it's ska, it still sounds beautiful.
So
I was trying to play Would You Be Impressed by Streetlight Manifesto.
I don't know song, the furry song that the only song I heard because of you. So that was really nice how you like brought it around full circle, Fluff, like that.
Yeah.
That was actually amazing. I really like how that worked out. You're very smart. Did you know that?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So now, really quick, do the ska thing where you go like on the offbeat thing, go do 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 do, but with the flute. Don't just go do do do, because I just did that. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Very good.
Very good. I give you a pause with my pauses.
Oh, thank you.
Big applause. Big applause. So as we wind this down and come to the end of our time with you, Misha, what words of wisdom do you have as your parting shot?
I was hoping you were going to word that different. I have rum and coke written down for the parting shot. Anyway, so no matter, no matter.
Nice. Okay. All right.
In the end, no matter what people say, just be unapologetically you. I've learned, especially after you get out of high school, in my day-to-day life, especially off the internet, people really aren't bothered by you being a furry or just being yourself and just living your life to the fullest. As long as what you're doing isn't harmful to anyone, it shouldn't matter what people think. And if people are going to have negative thoughts or opinions about what you're doing, why do you care about their opinion? You know, just shut them out and live your life.
There you go. Bark, bark.
Wise
words.
words.
Bark, bark.
Bark, bark.
Oh, Bo.
Bark, bark.
Oh, Bo. And we're back.
Well, Misha, thanks for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
You have a great voice for video and audio.
Thank you so much.
I mean, you really do. I mean, and you should look at doing some voiceover work maybe.
Oh, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So,
hello,
Taebyn, it's time to say goodbye, not hello, Taebyn.
Oh, okay. I get confused. I'm confusey pup sometimes. Okay, well, Misha, it's been great talking to you. You and your wonderful voice and fluting. I don't know what's happening there, but there it is. And so on that note, I say, hope to hug you someday at a con someday in the future. Well, not the past, because the past is in the past, as Elsa says. I just made a reference to. Did any forget that reference?
I got it.
You got okay.
I did. Don't sing it because it might get struck, but I got it.
Okay, it's true.
Yeah, don't sing it.
That's a good point. Okay, I won't. We know where I went with that, and we're sorry I did. And moving right along. So hope to hug you at a con sometime. Thanks for being on the show. We hope you have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you next time. Every fur out there, look for Misha's videos on his channel and buy him a Ko-Fi, however you pronounce that thing, and that'd be great. So talk to you next time. Misha, bark, bark, I wag.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, Misha B. Barkin, he is quite the talented
Barkin, that's for sure. And yeah, he has as you said, he has a great voice for video work and audio. And we didn't hear him sing, but maybe he has a good singing voice too. He knows how to play the flute.
He does know how to play the flute.
That's really cool that he was commissioned to compose for Spokane Throw. So it'd be really exciting if 2022 happens, so we can hear that in the fluff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I'm looking forward to 2022 coming around. I know it's 11 months from now, but you know,
I'm better than 27.
2027. Yeah. Oh, good Lord. I hope not. All right. Well, I think we should get to our next segment.
I say the next segment should happen now.
All right. And now it's time for Furries in the News.
Bark, 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 again.
So many of those noises aren't even words.
So, like 99% of what I just did was not actually furries in the news.
Right. It's just noises. But anyway.
Puppy noises.
So, puppy noises. So there is a few things in puppies in the news, or puppies in the news. For
so cute.
For furries in the news this week.
Okay.
We're gonna start with Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head.
Oh, are we now? That is not
we are.
What I expected you to say.
So Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head are going gender neutral.
Oh, good for them. Good for them.
They're just going to be called the Potato Heads.
Oh, not Mr. Okay, I see.
No Mr., no Mrs., because they don't want to have gender normatives set on to children because of their potato-ness.
That is because of their potato-ness. No, that's
right.
True. That is actually, this is actually really cool. I'm really happy to hear this.
When you buy the Potato Heads, there'll be 2 full-size potatoes, plastic, of course, and a tiny potato for the baby potato.
That's so cute.
You can play with the potato family. Now, you can make
definitely.
It 2 men.
Do you remember? Sorry to cut you off, but I have to say, do you remember back many, many episodes ago?
It was episode 2.
Oh, you know exactly what I'm going to say. Okay,
episode
I'll let you
2,
say it then.
When you had to learn how to potate.
When you had to learn how to. Okay, so you're way ahead of me. Okay, good.
Yes.
So there's a lot of learning how to potate these days.
Yes. So did you know when Mr. Potato Head came out, Taebyn?
I don't. I know they literally, in this case, they have been around for a while. I want to say the 60s, but I don't know.
1952.
1952. Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Been around.
And it didn't actually include a plastic potato. It had just a box full of
actual potatoes.
No, just a box full of little things that you poked into a real potato.
Oh, really? That is so
Yes.
adorable.
Yes.
There's so much adorableness going on right now.
The original toy was 98 cents in 1952.
But the potato was like $3.
But it contained hands, feet, ears, 2 mouths, 2 pairs of eyes, some noses, hats, eyeglasses, a pipe. Of course, they don't have a pipe anymore, I'm sure. And 8 pieces of felt that were supposed to resemble hair.
8?
So
exactly 8.
Exactly 8, yes. And it didn't include the body, so the parents had to provide your kids with its own potato to stick these things in. And they were plastic and metal, and they were very sharp. They were like thumbtacks that you would stick into the potato.
So again, it's back in the 50s. What was the ages recommended for this thing?
I don't know, but I'm sure it was marketed to children.
Children that can kill themselves with the sharp things. Okay,
right,
okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Things were different in the 50s.
They were all black and white. There's no color. Like everyone saw like dogs and everything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. So, and Mr. Potato Head was the very first toy actually advertised and marketed to children on television.
Oh.
Until that time, toys were always marketed to the parents to buy for their kids. These were actually marketed to the kids.
Oh, actually, this is really, it totally worked. Because they're like,
totally worked.
Mommy, I want a potato. Please,
right?
I want They don't want the vitamins or protein from the potato. They want this toy.
So when it first came out, then the first month of the advertisement, over 1 million were sold.
You said a month?
In the first month of the advertisement coming out, over 1 million of these kits were sold. And shortly after that,
they were 98 cents each?
98 cents each. So just under $1 million is what the company reaped over this.
In a month. Wow.
Yeah. So then
the potato company made a lot of money too for that.
Well, I don't know how much a potato cost in 1952, but probably a penny, but you know.
True.
So then in 53, they added the potato, Mrs. Potato, and then they added Brother Spud and Sister Yam.
I don't know if I knew about Sister Yam. That's so cute. Yep. I loved it. I loved everything you're saying.
They included a car and a boat trailer and a kitchen set and a stroller for the baby potato.
I love this.
And then they started marketing little pet ones, and they called the pet ones Spudettes.
Were they like little tiny Brussels sprouts or something?
Oh yeah, no, they were. Yeah, it's little. So you could like get little potatoes or little like other vegetables and make the little pets out of it. So.
This is so cute. I did not know any of this. This is so adorable.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, that's so cute.
So and then they tried to market some other stuff.
The potatoes and the Spudettes.
The potato heads. I mean, this is
like a 50s. This is a total like 50 spans. The potato heads and Spudettes.
Oh, and then of course they tried to capitalize on that, and they had the Mr. Potato Heads Picnic Pals. There was Mr. Soda Pop and Frankie Frank, and off they went.
Frankie Frank, was that like a sausage or something?
It was a hot dog, yeah.
It's a hot dog, okay, Frankie.
Yeah.
Well, but in the end, the potato heads stuck around to make it to another millennia.
That's the story of Mr. Potato Head, and now it's just the Potato Heads.
That was an amazing actual journey you just took me on. I loved every moment of it. Thank you so much, Bertie.
Well, you're quite welcome. And also in Furries in the News, we want to talk about a thing called Culturally Effed. Culturally Effed reached out to us and asked us if we would give them a little plug, and they will give us a plug on their show.
Really?
It's an Ursa Major Award-winning show, and they produce short videos about anything and everything to do with anthropomorphic animals.
Nice.
Their focus is on history, myth, literature, anthropology, mass media such as television and film, and the issues and current events surrounding the furry fandom.
I am liking this.
Yeah. Culturally Effed tackles everything from Lewis Carroll to Walt Disney, from Japanese myth to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Kind of sounds a lot like our show.
Full gambit right there. Not just a Queen's gambit. It's the full gambit.
Right, yeah. The collective social and arts movement known as the furry fandom runs through all of these and more. The creator, host, and editor of Culturally Effed is RK. And Tempe Okun is the staff writer and interviewer. Culturally Effed can be found on YouTube and Roku. Now,
nice.
I watched a couple of their episodes. It's a lot of fun. They have been on hiatus. That's a big word, meaning not around. And
Okay.
they have come back, and they're trying to boost their watchership, their listenership, and their viewers. And
I like watchership. That's good.
Watchership. We make up words.
It's like when it's kind of like the Heart of the Sea movie that I was talking about, because you have to have people on deck, and they are to see what's happening, and so they are the watchership.
The watchership. That's true. Okay.
That's okay. No, that's actually really, really cool. I am actually really interested to check them out. That's amazing.
Yeah, check them out. They've got a lot of stuff on their YouTube channel. So check them out, give them a listen, give them a watch, and tell them that Barely Furcasting featuring Taebyn sent you.
So are they? You said they're Ursa Major Award winning show. Are they in it this year?
They're not in it this year. So they've won in prior years. So yeah.
Okay. So don't go vote for them because they're not there. I mean, you can, but you'd have a hard time doing it because they're not there.
And of course, keeping with our nautical theme this week, for some reason, we're in a nautical theme.
Apparently.
I don't know how that happened. Again, the world is interconnected. But the Anthro Expo online, which is happening April 10th and 11th, which is just a couple of weeks from this episode. And Cooper Tom, we're all familiar with Cooper Tom.
Love the Cooper Tom kitty.
Yes, he is going to be the guest of honor at the virtual Anthro Expo. And the Anthro Expo's theme is shipwrecked.
Oh, so no, yeah. How did that? Yeah. I actually, so for all our listeners, we did not plan like the nautical themes that have been happening early in the episode to connect with what Barely just said about the Anthro. So that's, as you say, Barely, it's all connected.
The world is interconnected. Yep. So if you'd like to register for that con, it is Anthro Expo online /registration. And the just attendance level registration is free. The sponsor level, I think, is $10 or $15, and then the super sponsor is like $30 or $40. So it's a fairly inexpensive virtual con to attend if you would like to attend April 10th and 11th.
If you can support our community, support Cooper Tom, support everything that our community does for all of us, and register for that is what I say.
I think it is time to move along to our math segment. Because so many nerds are waiting with bated breath for a
math. And actually, they're not all furs. Some of our scalies, because if they have bated breath, they'd be like fish and stuff.
All right. So what's your math?
So there's a lot of, like a ton of amazing, great, beautiful math out there. And so many things I would love to impart upon our listeners and you, Barely. The trouble is that a lot of the math that's so beautiful and amazing, you need some like background and stuff. And so it would take me, I mean, I could explain it definitely, but it would take some time to do it. So I shy away from those to try and minimize that. Because of this, it's getting harder and harder to find interesting, maybe to the layfer that doesn't know much background about blah, whatever. Good things I can say.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're interesting to me, but like just for the general fur relation, whatever that means. I have to say, for all you furs out there, if you have some math you want me to talk about, please do, because it's getting harder and harder for me to find things to talk about. So I was having trouble looking for stuff to find today to talk about on today's episode. My hubby was sitting next over across the room today when I was talking about, I'm having trouble finding things. And he mentioned a word that he had heard me say because, this pup likes math. I think about like math a lot and stuff. And when I think about math, I talk to myself like a lot of crazy math furs and people do. And my hubby said...
It's a sign of brilliance, by the way.
I love that you say that, and I am totally going to run with that and say that's a true thing right there. You heard it first from Barely.
There you go. It's a sign of brilliance.
So in my brilliance of talking to myself, my honey has heard this particular word that I've said off and on over and over again. And the word is diagonalizability. So
diagonalizability. Okay.
Yes. Can you say that 3 times fast?
Diagonalizability, diagonalizability, diagonalizability.
Nice. Good. That was awesome. Okay, you passed the first test. You can now listen to the rest. Toast. That's right. I know what you did there. I know what you did. Yeah. You could say. Oh, actually, that was great. So for any that didn't get that, listen to last week's episode. That was great. I love that. That was great. But yes, so diagonalizability, it's an actual word. It's this big word. Here's I'm gonna try and explain a few ideas first before I talk about the actual word diagonalizability. And so for any out there that's listening that's interested in linear algebra, you might be interested in what I have to say. And even physics and lots of sciences, you might be interested in just this general overview. In math, it's useful to decompose things. So that's not like kill them and watch them decompose on the ground, because that would be morbid. We're doing math, which is exciting and fun. So it's useful to decompose things. And what I mean by that is take a thing you don't know much about and break it into smaller pieces that you do know something about, find out the information about the individual pieces, put them together, and you get information about your overall thing. This is kind of the general concept of how do you solve problems in general. You take something you don't know how to do, you turn it into something you do know how to do.
Like little nibbles.
Little nibbles adds up to the full thing. An example that I have off the top of my head is like if you have a big spreadsheet of payroll numbers or inventory or expense reports or something like that. You know, it's like you got a bunch of rows and columns and all these different variables and stuff. You don't just like look at it all at once and get the answer. You break it up into little pieces. You look at each column, each row, each individual item, maybe, it depends on how you want to break it up. You break it up and for each piece, and then in the end, you add it all together or subtract or do whatever you're going to do to get your final result that encompasses the whole spreadsheet. And in general, in math and science and things like that, but especially in math, that's what we like to do. You take a thing, an object that you don't necessarily know much about, and you decompose it somehow. And there's many ways to do it depending on what you're looking at. So it's very useful to do that. For example, in this branch of math called linear algebra, there are these things called matrices. So Barely, do you know what a matrix is? And by matrix, I don't mean the thing that Neo is a part of.
Yes, I know what it is, but I don't know how to explain it.
Like an array of numbers, for example.
Okay. There you array of numbers, yes.
Yep. So you've got a matrix, and actually you can use a matrix, an array of numbers, to model things. For example, in computer graphics, and you've got these little pixels and stuff, and you've got vectors that help describe what shape or graphic you're trying to do. So computer scientists out there might know what I'm talking about. So graphic design, you can model these things by matrices. That's the plural of matrix, it turns out. You can also model a transformation such as rotating an object or stretching it out or something by a matrix. There are ways to mathematically model and encapsulate all this data via a matrix. It's useful to be able to compute and manipulate these matrix things because they actually produce visual results. For example, you can imagine you could be dealing with a shape or an object or a graphic or something, and it's kind of askew, as it were. It's like not in an orientation that you might be able to deal with. Maybe you've got to plug a formula into a computer or something to make something happen. Or maybe you're just doing it by hand and you've got to how do I compute making this do what I want it to do? Like stretch it out or change the shape of it or something. Well, what could be really useful is taking the shape, and if maybe you could rotate it into an orientation to where the computations to do what you need to do are really easy. That could be useful. And then do the computations and rotate it back so that you've basically done the transformations, whatever you're going to do to the object, and basically not moved it around. That makes the computations for you, for the computer, for the formula that you're trying to put into the program much easier. So this is and this happens, not just computer science, but everywhere you might be able want to do this for some reason. The idea of being diagonalizable, so it turns out that there's this concept of diagonalizability where under certain nice conditions, you can do this, where you can write down a matrix that rotates your things to a nice position, and then it gives you this idea of diagonalizability, gives you a matrix that really nice, easy to compute with matrix that does what you want it to do, and then you rotate it back. It's a really nice way to do what you want to do. Like computationally, you throw it into a computer, it's nice. You can do it by hand. It's really nice. And so that's what it means for a matrix to be diagonalizable, is you can take this thing you want to do to a thing and rotate it, do a thing, and do back, and it's nice. And there's this whole theory that's computational. It's actually easy to do by hand, and it's nice. So diagonalizability is a very useful thing to be able to do. Now, this idea of diagonalizability also helps computationally. For example, let's take a matrix. There are ways, an easy way, I won't go into it now, but there's an easy way to take a matrix that models, I think I've mentioned this before, migration, like the probability that people in one city migrate to another city, or the probability that a flock of flamingos migrate to another pond or something. I don't, they might want to do that. Like, I don't like this pond anymore.
Flamingos.
I don't like this pond anymore. I'm going to migrate to that one. And so you might want to know, what's the probability that any given flamingo migrates to another pond or something? And this information of probabilities about migration, whatever, can be encoded in a matrix. It turns out that this particular matrix can tell you, when you raise it to a power, you might remember powers. Squared cube raised it to the 5th power just means multiply it by itself 5 times. Let's say you knew that the probability that flamingos migrated to whichever pond after 1 year, the probability they do it after a year. Okay, so you can encapsulate this information in a matrix. The matrix to the 5th power gives you the probabilities overall that flamingos will migrate after 5 years to a pond. This could be very useful information for people studying population growth in cities and biologists and things like that. So you could imagine all kinds of useful information to be able to get from raising a matrix to, say, the 100th power. Well, that's hard to do, actually. I mean, multiply something by itself 100 times is a lot of work. Through this diagonalizability thing, which there's a lot going on here that I'm not talking about, but I'm just giving you a summary. Through this diagonalizability thing, if, which you can't always do, but if you can diagonalize something, you can raise it to whatever power you want, and the computations are really easy. Like, you can do it by hand. It's really easy. You don't even need a computer. So this is a really efficient thing to be able to do diagonalizability. And in fact, you can use this idea to, in the long run, what's the stable population? Like, after a million years, forever, what's the stabilized population of flamingos in a certain pond? This could be really useful. And through diagonalizability, this is actually an easy thing to compute, even by hand. So this is really great. And this all has to do with this theory of this branch of math called linear algebra. This theory, and by theory in math, we mean a real thing. It's really great, really applicable, really useful in many things. It's a beautiful branch of mathematics, lots of applications in physics and chemistry, probability, statistics, the list goes on. Lots of great applications and lots of fun math involved too. So that is my summary about that, and that is my math for this week.
Awesome. Well, I am always floored when it comes to the math.
And you now know that the word diagonalizability is a real word. How many so diagon? You're going to have to count for me because I'm not going to be able to count this myself. Ready? Here we go.
Yep.
Diagonalizability.
9.
So all you furs, that is a 9-syllable word that is actually useful all over the place. So there you go.
Well, let's move along to our really bad jokes.
Really bad jokes.
Have you got your book with you?
I do have my book with me.
You do. All right. Well, let's open up to the next chapter or
the next page de
the next page.
livre.
I would like you to. One of these days, I want you to go to France and talk like that and see what happens.
Le livre, c'est la chose de la vache, le fromage de la piscine, which means the book of the cow and the cheese of the swimming pool. But they'll probably ignore what it means and just like throw me out just because of my pronunciation or something.
Really bad pronunciations and yelling at them. I think we have most of our listeners understand what this really bad joke book comes from, but go ahead and give us a recap once again.
Repop. In case any, we might have a new listener or something.
Might have a new listener.
We
you
might.
Never know.
Because they're one of the weird furs that don't listen to these in order. Like, I'll just go with episode 42. Oh, well, 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I want to go back and listen to our episode 42 and find out if it is really the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Well, it might be.
It might be. So this book is called Funny Jokes and Foxy Riddles, and it is none of that except for the word and. And it is a golden book from 1968. This book has a bunch of really bad jokes. Some of them are actually okay, but some of them are so bad that it takes a few weeks and someone else to explain to us what it means. And in addition to that, these jokes I have not read before Pa. We're reading them for the first time myself, which means it could go so bad, and it usually does.
All right. What's your first joke?
Barely. Could you tell me what is blue, flies, and is dangerous?
I don't know. What is blue, flies, and is dangerous?
A bluebird with a gun.
Well, yes. Based on last week's story, where the birds just picked on that poor little doggy.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Like I would believe that, yeah. But so Taebyn, did you hear about the guy who was cut in half?
I shy away from that, so I did not hear. Tell me about that guy that was cut in half.
His left side didn't survive. He's all right now.
Well, good for him. He totally is, and I applaud that. Did you know? And maybe the all right side of the guy knew.
Yes.
When are the cooks cruel?
When they beat the eggs?
And?
I don't know. And what?
And whip the cream.
Oh, and whip the cream. Beat the eggs and whip the cream. Okay. Well, that is very much a 1960s type of a joke, yes. I was in the Apple store, not the fruit, but the Apple. Like
you weren't in an Apple? Like you didn't turn all like grandma? I don't know, because grandma is an apple. I don't know.
I was in an Apple store recently and someone farted. Oh, God, it was terrible. But I guess that's what happens when you don't have windows.
So if my book right here had like a 2021 version, that would be in it.
Yes, definitely.
Do you know, speaking of medicinal things?
Yes.
What did one tonsil say to the other?
I don't know. What did one tonsil say to the other?
Come on now, sweetie. Get dressed. The doctor is taking us out tonight. I love how that was very not, what's the word?
Funny?
No,
Funny?
No, but also your courtesy laugh was very, very courtesy.
Very courtesy.
Like there's no emotion involved in that at all. Which for good right. For good right.
Or for good reason.
For that, I mean, that's a really good thing because that means the guy can attest to that because he was all right. So that was okay.
You know, before Darth Vader was the henchman for the bad side of the Force, he tried to be a baker. He tried making cookies, but they were always a little on the dark side.
They really were, you know.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's like when I make my toast. I need to watch my video apparently again because I forgot how to make the toast. So I guess that was a shout out to me just now. So for any fur out there that wants to know how to make toast, see my video on my YouTube for how to make good toast. And I plug self. There it is. What did the Indian say when his dog fell over the cliff?
I don't know.
Yes, you do, Barely.
What did the Native Americans say when his dog fell over the cliff?
Right. Sorry. So I apologize for any fur. Did not mean to offend. 1968 and everything. What did the Native Indian say?
Native American.
I'm in an offensive mood tonight. So what did the Native Americans say when the Native Indian? What did the Native Americans say when the dog fell over the cliff?
I don't know. What?
And no. You know the answer to this, actually. Just try it, Barely.
Dog gone. Yes.
I mean, if you look at what it says it's okay.
Did you hear about the bunch of high schoolers who jumped off the wharf in San Francisco?
Doggone?
No.
That didn't even make any sense, I guess.
No, they succumbed to peer pressure.
Oh, P.I. Okay, I got it. I got it now. It's wharf.
Right.
Not the Klingon, by the way.
No. Do you have one more joke?
I do.
Okay.
There's a tax collector. Wait, well, this is the 60s. There was 60s. So, and actually, there's lots of them. But this particular tax collector was talking to a taxpayer. And he said, "Why don't you pay your taxes with a smile?" And the taxpayer said, "I'd love to, but you insist on money."
Okay.
I mean, there's a little bit of truth to that.
There's a little bit of truth to that. So a bear walks into the bar and says, "I'll have a beer and some of those peanuts." And the bartender says, "Why the big pause?" Big pause.
Oh, yeah.
Like pausies. Yeah. That's all I have. That's the jokes I have. Is it time to close? Is it time to close this episode out? I think it's time to close this episode out.
Yes.
So I think it's time. So I would say, send us a letter, send us a message, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on Telegram, hit us up, but just don't hit us because that would hurt us.
It would hurt my pauses.
It would hurt, So I'm going to say MooBarkFluff. Until next week, stay furry.
MooBarkFluff, that's right. So fur it up with a MooBarkFluff. Spreading the word, as you might have heard in or maybe you're one of those furs that are like, I don't want to hear Taebyn talk. So why are you listening to the end? But I don't want to hear Taebyn talk, so I'm just going to go to the end and only endure a few minutes of it. So maybe you didn't hear this, but so the new greeting now is spread it around. Greeting and goodbye is MooBarkFluff. So we say MooBarkFluff, love you. Thank you so much for listening. It means so much to us. It really does. We hope you like the show. Tune in to us next week when we talk about, well, who knows what's going to happen there because we haven't done it yet. So see you next time in the mystery that is the next week. And we hug you tight with pausies. We say MooBarkFluff. We wag. Bark at you next time.
Barely Furcasting is an Injured Nerves studio production and is found on all major podcast platforms or can be heard directly at barelyfurcasting.com. The opinions expressed here are those of the hosts and their guests, and no commercial compensation was granted. The Furcast is produced, recorded, and directed by me, Barely Normal, aka Mike Began, and is edited by myself and our associate editors Rain Raccoon and Bixby Wolf. This week's interview was edited by Bixby Wolf. Opening and closing theme music, as well as some interstitial music, was created for Injured Nerves Productions for the use on the podcast by our music associate, Regday, with Damien Tanuki. If you would like to hear more of music by Regday, you can search for Tweezerbeak on Bandcamp or Hoop Loop Tunes on SoundCloud. Other interstitial and background music by Shane Ivers through silvermansound.com and the YouTube free use library. If you would like to send us a message, you can do so via email at barelyfurcasting@gmail.com or on our Telegram chat at BFFTchat, on Twitter, on our Facebook page, or on the barelyfurcasting.com webpage. You can support the show through through donations at ko-fi.com/barelyfurcasting or through Patreon at patreon.com/barelyfurcasting. Thanks for listening. We hope you come back and listen next week.